Well, no, the smoking the other night did bother me. I know you said it's only social.
Yeah, sometimes I have a cigarette. But if that's something that bothers you, then I will not smoke ever again.
Little black bug, you know what time it is. Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You already know what time it is. You already know what time it is. Listen, like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. Get gay. You get me? Shake 'em and bake 'em, baby. Shake 'em and bake 'em. We're here talking to you guys about about Married at First Sight, and we're gonna obviously give you the rundown of the different couples. And to this, well, first one we're gonna talk about Luke and Kate. Obviously, it's kind of crazy. Do you know what is crazy? Because Luke kind of is like a paradoxical individual walking around in a relationship or in a marriage with Kate, and it kind of drives me nuts. Yeah, because the reason why it drives me nuts is because one minute he's telling me, he loves, spending time with his wife.
I just married a stranger. It's absolutely crazy, but I'm very excited for my first night alone with my wife. That's nice.
But then the behavior he shows doesn't really show an intimacy. Yes, there's a little bit of talking, yes, they're getting to know each other, but there's not really a chemistry there. There's not really a flow there.
First night together, and it's more awkward than I thought it was gonna be. But I think we're both just a little bit nervous.
And because he's not really explained the truthful nature of what his mind is really, really thinking, we're stuck in this place of going, Luke, you're a dickhead. And that's the words that come to my mind. You're a dickhead. And I'm not trying to say that he really is a dickhead, but that's how I feel at the moment, because you're not explaining what I want. You've got a lovely girl like Kate who's ready to mend and bend at your will, and is willing to change parts of herself just to make you happy, and yet you're here not being honest enough in the process, and saying you want to take it slow. Now I know you want to take it slow, but this is hella slow. This is snail pace. In fact, this is grinding to a halt kind of pace, because at the moment you're not showing your wife that you truly are invested in this relationship, that you really care. Just by being there, it's not enough. You know what I'm saying? Your words are very important. Your actions are very important. And I don't feel like they're really marrying up too much, and that's why Kate is feeling the way she's feeling. Do you get me? But let's get deep into this. Look, first thing I noticed was obviously when they're talking after the wedding, they're sitting on the sofa. Look at the distance between them. Like, Luke is purposely keeping his body at a certain angle so that it's not even that it's inviting for Kate. And so immediately, I'm sure she picks up on that he's not really feeling it, and don't go too close, don't engage too much. And not only that, there's an awkward joke about champagne or whatever, rah, rah, rah. But then there's a conversation which is obviously spoke about, which is about going to bed. Now, I love Kate because of the fact that she's so open and so willing to try. If it was me, mad things, you already know this would have gone down different, cause I get gay.
This couch is so comfy. I will sleep on it.
I know that you're very respectable.
Respectable.
Respectable,
That's
yes.
what I always go for.
You seem like a gentleman, and I like that. But you don't have to sleep on the couch. So there's a bed there. We could share it, and we could,
Luke first says, this sofa feels real nice. I don't mind. I'm gonna stay in the bed. And she's like, Luke, you don't have to. We can go upstairs. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, you can go and sleep in the bed. Like, we're married now. And you can just see that, and then she actually hints, we can actually have sex as well.
So there's a bed there. We could share it, and we could,
She's kind of having a problem with Luke, because Luke is very analytical. He wants all the information at hand, and I'll prove it to you. At one point he says, I'm not sure what to do in the honeymoon phase. But
Try to figure out the shower. I've never been on a honeymoon before, so I don't know what exactly to expect, but my wife is really sweet.
Okay. And hold it.
I've never been married, so I don't know what it's supposed to feel like. But there's a nice chemistry right now with my wife. She seems very giggly, which is a big plus.
He also said later before that, I'm not sure what to do when you just get married. I'm not sure what to do. When you're talking about photos, he also says the exact same thing. So he's a person that doesn't like moving unless he's got all the information at hand, which is then will link to the relationship. If he feels like he hasn't got all the information about this girl, which is the reason why he takes it so slow, he doesn't feel he can move forward. So for him to understand him is to understand that he has to have all the information at hand, then he can begin to move. So I kind of then began to sit back and say, okay, cool, I now get what you're saying. I'm not gonna be on your case as much. Do you get what I'm saying? But still, at the same time, you know, you've got that amenable spirit in you as well. You can showcase a little bit of love towards this girl. One thing I would say about Luke also is that, you know, he's a person, because of the analytical side of him also, there's a side of him which is like a little kid, which is that he seeks for someone to notice every fine detail. I'll give you 2 examples. With the sloths, he said I was, not the sloths, with the eggs, they were sitting at the table and they were eating eggs, eat eggs and toast or whatever for breakfast.
I love watching the egg ooze out.
Right? Such a satisfying feeling.
Isn't it? Mm-hmm. I thought you were gonna think that was weird.
No. It's like my favorite part. You didn't watch when you cut it open. I was watching.
Oh, I think I noticed. Yeah.
I was trying to be sly about it, but.
And he said something like, "I love the way that obviously the egg runs on my plate." She said, "Yeah, me too." And then he then said, "Oh, you, when you were cutting your egg, I was watching you and you didn't notice." And the way he said it, like, "Oh, you didn't notice the little detail that I was watching you. Like, I expected you to know that I was watching you." And then if you watch Kate's response, she actually responds to it immediately by saying, "Oh no, I saw you." And I remember this is the exact same behavior that happened when they just got married.
I'm sitting here drinking champagne for the first time with my new wife, and I'm just thinking, how does she not recognize me? And I think now is the moment that I'm gonna kind of break the ice and let her in on this little secret.
How long it was gonna take you to notice?
Okay, it took me too long because of all the stress of the situation, but yes.
When Luke said, "Oh, you know, you don't really remember me," and then she was like, "Oh, what? Oh my gosh, you were the person on the thing." So again, Kate's trying to cover. She don't remember, and she didn't watch him with the egg. Okay, now because she's amenable, expressive, finer details don't really as matter too much. The bigger picture does. But analytical people want every fine detail, and because he's analytical, you know, every little step he expects for her to notice these things, because that's the way he understands. Again, it's about understanding how people want to be loved, understand how people want to be cared for. He wants every little detail to be noticed by her, and I think that's part of his behavior, but also personally, but also to do with something that happened in his past that doesn't make real. I know it seems to fit into that personality trait, but does not fully fit into that personality trait, because there are some things that he does, and I'm like, bro, you know, you wanted to really know and watch every fine detail, bro. It's like you want a mum. Do you know what I'm saying? Interesting enough, when he went to obviously, you know, the honeymoon and they were at Costa Rica, and then obviously in the little zoo or whatever, and they went to see sloths. Now I love the fact that Kate, look, one thing I always say is that when someone is doing their particular activity, the other person should be energized, happy to do their activity, even though it doesn't speak to them. And I saw that in the beginning. Kate said, look.
When we found out we were going to Costa Rica, one of the first things that Luke was excited about was seeing sloths. So today we are at the animal sanctuary, and we are going to see some sloths and other animals.
How excited are you? Be honest.
About the sloths?
About everything.
About everything? I'm excited.
You know, I know you mentioned this particular animal, but we're here for the sloths. Yeah, he's all about the sloths. They went and started looking at sloths. Now, remember, she doesn't really like this kind of thing, okay? And not only that, again, I said Luke is analytical. He wants all the data. So you noticed he was able to reel off facts about the sloth that even the tour guide couldn't even understand.
That's why the 2-toed sloths are better than the 3-toed sloth, in my personal opinion.
All right. I love 3-toed sloths because they have always a smile on their face, so they're happy all the time.
Look at her go, man.
You understand? So Luke is a fact finder person. He needs to have all the facts at hand. That's what makes him happy. And so therefore he was reading off facts about the sloths, and he noticed Kate's energy go down. And you know, in relationships, it's not easy trying to do someone else's activity if you don't find it interesting.
The biggest kind of toucan in all Central America and the second biggest in all the planet.
Hey, you don't want a picture in front of him? No? Are you scared to turn your back on Sam?
Hi.
I think Kate did pretty well, but it must have been an exhaustive day, because they would have been walking around quite a bit. Now, she wasn't particularly happy with that, and I think, do you know what I would say as well? people need to make other people feel comfortable. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you see, like, I believe Kate is an amenable person, which basically means that she'll be willing to do this task with you. But remember, she's doing this out of love. So when she doesn't feel the love, she will not feel the necessity to continue the energy.
I'm trying to be excited about it. I'm really trying, but it's just hot, and we're just like walking around looking at animals in cages, and I don't know. It's just not really my thing, but I'm trying to like be a trooper.
Because she's doing something she doesn't particularly like. So for those of you out there who are in relationships and you know you've got a partner in your life and you're asking them to do something, an activity that they don't like, remember they don't like that activity, but they're doing it for the love of you. So therefore, make sure you make them feel as comfortable as possible.
Usually upside down.
Like you're really interested in the sloths.
I am.
Like, Luke made her almost feel kind of bad, like, you're not interested in the sloths. It's not like she weren't. The energy had started to fade a little bit. And at that point, you should have realised, okay, look, do you know what? I really appreciate the fact that you came to, I really appreciate the fact you came with me today. Like, it's been really, like, good. Like, I really liked it. And I really appreciate that. Her energy would have picked up immediately because you thanked her for doing something. I'm not saying that she responds to that, but what I'm saying is that when someone's thanked for doing something out of their remit, the energy can come back again. But he was just there, almost like he was gunning her.
A little tired. We're a little tired. You're just not even in this. Just a little tired, and so we're gonna head out soon.
Luke said twice, you know, not love at first sight twice. Bro, if you want to say it, bro, just say it. Don't beat around the bush. If you don't find Kate attractive, just say you don't find Kate attractive, bro. There's no need to make it mesh and long. I feel like you're just doing a bit too much and trying to be a bit too kind, bro. And it's that amenable side coming through. You know, you're not telling the absolute truth. And therefore it's causing a problem within the relationship.
I'm gonna be sharing it.
Sensitive sharing.
Kate has a very great personality.
But I definitely wouldn't describe our relationship as love at first sight, but there's a lot of things I can see why we were matched.
I mean that, you know, it's not love at first sight. You mean you're not struck by her at first sight. You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. Just say that. Do you know what I mean? And, but obviously, like I said, there's nothing wrong with taking a relationship slow. I just feel like a pace, there's slow and there's like we're not moving at all. And that's not to do with the kissing. Kate keeps focusing on the kissing, and I believe she's focusing on that because maybe that's her ideal understanding of love and, you know, passion and, you know, having a relationship. My focus would be, and I think she's mentioned that more because I feel like there's a disconnect. So their personalities should be meshing. What he's doing towards her should be more endearing and more loving. And if she doesn't feel that, then the kissing will then become the substitute for the reason why she feels like, oh, I'm not being cared for. But in saying that, the kissing, the touching could be because obviously her love language is physical touch, and therefore she feels undesired. She's got a desired need which is unmet. So again, people always check that as well. What is your love language? And if it's not being met, just go and ask the person. And she said it several times. You know, look, you know, you haven't kissed me. You know, they were sitting at dinner table. You haven't kissed me, and like it's really weird. Da, da, da. And he then said, oh, you know, I'm taking it slow, and because we're strangers, and da da da. I'm like, Luke, bro, you knew what you was getting into when you signed up for the show. You knew you would be someone who's a stranger. You knew these things already. But stop making excuses. Tell the bloody truth. You know, I know at points he said that, you know, he's kind of feeling there a little bit, but yada, 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 yada. One thing I also want to notice as well, one thing that Luke still was having it out for AJ, saying a little comment at the table.
AJ and Steph seem to be the best couple. I'm a little surprised to see that after being a little suspect of how he was going to interact with his wife after meeting him at the bachelor party.
My mom was wrong with you. I'll bring you to Thanksgiving dinner.
It's nice to see them, you know, get each other, even though AJ's a little extra.
Listen, Luke, focus on your woman. Don't focus on AJ and Steph. Focus on your woman. You understand? Cool. When they were sitting at the table, obviously, you know, Luke brought the fact that she smokes. And let me tell you this now, Kate, you should have, Kate, you should have mentioned that. You know, you partially smoke, and that probably maybe annoyed Luke too.
Is there anything that has been bothering you?
Well, no, the smoking the other night did bother me. I know you said it's only social.
Yeah, sometimes I have a cigarette.
Maybe that stressed him out a little bit. But one thing I want to say is obviously Luke said to Kate, after originally trying to be honest about the smoking situation, Luke, you brought it up. When obviously, you know, she decides to ask him about why he hasn't kissed her and why he hasn't kissed her, etc., etc.
Give them what they want.
You don't have to. I'm serious.
Even then, you're just like, we don't have to do it.
I don't like when there's pressure from outsiders.
I know, but even in private, when there isn't pressure, you haven't done it yet.
Oh man, you want to talk about that now?
He's like, oh, well, you really want to go there now? Bro, you took the conversation there by talking about the cigarette thing. Don't try to flip it like it came out of nowhere. You decided to be honest, and she decided to be honest with you and tell you how she truly feels. That's amazing, bro. She could have lied to you, bro. Do you understand? You know, so I love the fact that she was honest and then told him, look, at the end of the day, you know, you haven't done this. You know, at the dinner table, at the wedding, you didn't kiss me either. You know, at the high table. So what's going on? Like, so for me at the moment, yeah, Kate and Luke, yeah, are probably the weakest couple, and that's not because they're not having sex or they're not being in sexual chemistry. It's just the way that Luke is behaving. It's odd. It's unexplainable, and you're not explaining yourself, Luke. But that could be the analytical side, and the fact that, like I said, it could be locked up in his mind. He's not able to articulate and release that information. But we are grown adults here. Begin to behave like a grown adult. You've got a woman who loves you, Luke. Fix the frick up, man. Do you understand? Fix the frick up, bro. Listen, like, share, subscribe. You already know what time it is. It's Little Pepper. You know what time it is. Gay. You already know what time it is, baby.